let me,
Here,
about Nick Cannon real quick. Um, you got Future that we talk about, and then you got Nick. So let me be clear for those that don't know what Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, none of his pregnancies were accidental. All of Nick's children were planned. All of Nick's children, Nick had a conversation with the mothers before he impregnated them. He didn't shoot up the club with some chick that he met at, and then accidentally was a whoopsie. It wasn't what Future did. It's not what Chris Brown did. It wasn't like, God damn, can I get a DNA test? All of the children that Nick Cannon has, he talked to the mothers before he had them. They knew the situation. Nick Cannon is not on any child support whatsoever, court ordered. All he has money set aside, a couple million for each child, already set. And his whole plan was the example that Darwin had put out there about a billionaire spreading a seed to expand his lineage. Nick's whole idea was, because he's on this king thing. You see him with the turban, and he's a little different. And his whole thing is, I want to create a kingdom, and in order to do that, I need to have children. And so what he did was he found the women that he decided that he liked to have children with, had a conversation with them, dated some of them he didn't. It's not that many of them. So a couple of them had a few. I think two of them had two. Of course, Mariah got two. I think it's 9 kids total, 9 or 11. I get it mixed up.
You
But
got 12.
just to be clear, for those that don't know the situation with Nick, that's why a lot of people are on the fence about Nick and don't really classify him as the Future type guy that's just out there just rapping and hitting up clubs and getting turned up and smashing chicks in after the concert, and it's like, fuck, man, I fucked her, and she got pregnant. Oh well, I guess I gotta just send her some money. That wasn't Nick's plan. So just for those that criticize Nick Cannon, just want you guys to know that it wasn't by accident that he had these children. He had these children intentionally with these women, intentionally, to do something that he wanted to do himself, that he had a plan for. And that's why not a single baby mama is complaining. Not a single one of them has anything to say bad about him. And he is not on any kind of child support. So now continue your conversation, but I wanted to make sure that you guys understand a little bit of context on Nick's plan before you guys continue.
oh yeah, I was familiar.
I got that part.
Yeah,
The only
I've been
thing
with that.
with that, right? So this, I could kind of agree with his point. The only point that I agree with as far as Sweeney's concerned is in the household, right? And the reason I say that because most of us let's say many of us, right? Especially people who do red pill, we talk about how horrible single mothers are at raising children. Now, with that logic, it makes sense. We know the numbers, right? We know how bad the metrics are when a father's not in their lives, if they're raised by a single mother. So that's why I say it's important for us to have as much contact as possible with the children. The best result is when they're raised in the same household with their father. That's undeniable at this point, right? When we look at the stats, if the father is part of the life, then they won't be a failure. Likely, they won't be a dropout. They'll probably be successful in their own relationships. We know though. Everybody's read those off already. So by that logic, if we're going to say that fathers are going to do a way better job as far as raising a child with or without the mother, then it would be wise for us to be in close proximity with the children. So that's the point where I kind of agree with Sweeney as far as raising them in the same household. I ain't in the business of calling nobody clown or whatever, but I think for your best result, the father should have a lot of time with the children. That's what I think. I think that you should have as many children. You can do what you want. I'm not going to tell nobody what you want. But if you were going to ask me what's the best result, then I would say the best result would be to have as many children as you can nurture.
Trevor, I agree with you, but it's a different dynamic when you have means. Finances cure a lot of problems that most have. You're able to provide her with a lifestyle where the children are kept. But the father figure, I agree. That part right there, I agree, because you would want both parents. There's a yin and a yang to everything. But if someone can provide a lifestyle where those kids are safe, taken care of, educated, providing all tangible goods and leading. You never know what direction a kid is going to go in, but the percentages are higher that your kids will be successful with the necessary things and without the financial stress. The biggest thing we say about single mothers, which makes it bad, they don't have the finances to foot the lifestyles that they need now that they have a kid. Those mostly, when we speak of it in a negative fashion, those kids are made by Pookie and Ray Rays and people that didn't want to be with the baby mother. And then you can throw in all the factors that would make a child struggle. We're removing.
I agree with that, but I think that our most important attributes that we provide for our children are structure and discipline, right? Even more than means, because I've seen some people come up in poor households, right? Or whatever, however you want to call it, live in poverty and still be able to have a successful child because they gave them that type of discipline, right? And we can't deny the fact that if you have the means, it's going to absolutely improve your quality of life. And of course, if you have wealth behind you, you are more likely to be successful. But I think even more important, if I had to choose between the two, means or structure and discipline, I would certainly choose the structure and discipline of a father over the means.
Also, we
creating broken households. That's what Nick Cannon is, creating broken households. And so you can't put a price tag on time. I mean, is that what we're doing? We put a price tag on, so now he's buying love? Because that's what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
He's buying love. Because just because he got the means he's going to buy the love of the children? No. What about spending time with your children? Waking up to your children, going to bed with your children, seeing your children off to school, seeing them take their first steps, speaking their first words, being involved in every type of way. As a man, you should be involved with your kids. I can't say that about Nick. Nick's not doing that. Now, Nick may be doing for the girl he may be living with currently, and he might be providing for them kids. But what about them other 8 or 9 kids he got? How do you think they're going to feel? Why ain't my daddy here? They're going to feel some type of jealousy and resentment. Why is my brother Tony get to spend all the time with him, but I can't? What are you going to say? You going to get on the Zoom meeting, try to console him? That's not going to fix the problem. That ain't going to do nothing but put a Band-Aid on it. And then guess what? He's going to go back to feeling that same way again. Because he's still over with Lil Tony. But me and Lil Mikey, we ain't getting no quality time because our dads maybe out here shooting another a video or a movie or doing some more shows or whatever the case may be, doing his podcast. He got time to do everything else besides take care of his goddamn kids, be there for his kids, not just in the financial aspect, but in the physical aspect, in the emotional aspect. Kids need that. I mean, I don't get it, man. There's no way I would turn my back on my children. And that's what he's doing when he's doing this. He's turning his back on his children. Because if you're not there, you're turning your back on your kids. Just because I can afford to take care of them don't mean anything to a child. Again, like you said, you can't put a price on when your father's there, your mother's there. We talk about broken homes, how it feels to be a man without their father in their life. So imagine the same thing for these kids. And this man got all the means y'all talking about, got all the bread in the world, but he not there. Nah.
What's an adequate amount of time for
a high value man that doesn't do a 9 to 5?
That same time you spend on doing the shoot, them same 7 or 8 hours you spend on doing a movie or filming or doing your podcast, you should be spending with your kids. And if you got 8, 9, 10, or 12 kids, it's hard to do that. Now you're spreading yourself thin.
So
but he's not even doing that. How's he doing that?
The average child, if y'all, I mean, I'm just trying to gauge this and make some sense out of it. The average child in America, we already got a single mother epidemic. The average child in America, what would y'all say is the on average amount of time he gets to spend with a father figure that's necessary for
I did the numbers.
growth and development on masculinity side?
I did the numbers. It was about 4 to 5 hours a day. That's how much time you legitimately get to spend with your kid, realistically.
Okay, so what's adequate?
I would argue that that's pretty much, you have to make the argument that it is adequate.
Do you think he's spending an hour with them kids a day?
We don't know.
Well, no, but the thing is that if it's wait, hold on,
I seriously doubt it. He called himself the hardest working man in showbiz. That's what he called him. You can't be that title and still spend all this time with your kids. You're not. And God forbid if he has a special needs child, how much attention that child needs. He's not giving that to them kids, man.
So you don't
he's
think
putting all that pressure on his baby mama and his ex-wife. He's not doing anything different than what Future's doing. So we call him a Pookie. What's he doing any different? Regardless if the kids was intentional or an accident, they still your kid.
What is the pressure, Hank?
What do you mean? What's the pressure?
What's the pressure? You said he's putting
your child's gonna be. Yes, the pressure is raising the kid by yourself. That's pressure.
Okay, so we changed the dynamic. I feel the way you're
you did. I didn't change it. I never moved off his stance. I don't agree with what he's doing.
Okay, so I put the dynamic.
Show me something on my phone.
The finances were allowed so that each child's mother doesn't have to want for anything. That's a different dynamic than a mother that has to want. Where is the pressure?
So that's what I'm talking about. So you trying to replace your time and your presence with money. You think that's all a child needs?
No, I'm in agreement with you with that.
But that's what you're pretty much doing. I gave you enough money, ma'am. You should be good. That's still pressure. Where a son wants to see his father, wants to play catch with his father, wants to spend time with his father. That's a thing. A daughter wants to spend time with their father, see their father. That's a thing, man. I look here again. I can't go with it because I would never do that to my son or my daughter.
And I agree, but I can't see Hank from what Hank does from someone that is as busy as him, entertaining, running businesses, not in one place at the same time. Most high value men, the numbers have been done. They barely have enough time to be home.
So if that's the case, then spreading yourself even thinner sounds like a good idea.
If the means justify the ends.
And what
I think what Kenny's trying to explain to you guys, I think what Kenny's trying to say is that, listen, the reality, Kenny's coming from a reality standpoint. So the point is, you guys are saying, well, Nick Cannon had 9 kids. He ain't spending no time with his kids at all, right? But then you got the billionaire who's running fucking Oracle or goddamn Amazon or whatever it is, who don't spend time with his one kid. And so if the numbers are that high, and that's what Kenny's using, high value, he's talking about high functioning people that have to travel, that's always out of town. Every time you go to the airport, they got their private jets. They're overseas, and but they still Donald Trump with Conrad, I think his son's name is, or whatever. How much time do they spend with their children? And we're talking, there's a lot of rich people out there that's very high functioning, that do a lot of shit. They got 1 or 2 kids that they barely see, that they got to FaceTime all the time. Somehow it sounds like you guys are giving them a pass because they just had 2 kids, and Nick is a failure because he had 9 kids, yet both of them are spending about the same amount of time with their kids.
So, Shad, I don't give them pass to none of them motherfuckers. They all goddamn deadbeats to me. Well, you got 1 and 21. You ain't shit as a father. I said it before. I can't stand deadbeats. Them motherfuckers ain't shit. If you ain't taking care of your goddamn kids, you ain't shit to me. And now you making us other men who are doing the right thing, you making us men look bad. I have no sympathy for them motherfuckers.
With that notion now, so I got you, Hank. You saying, look, man, I don't give a fuck. You got 1 child or 20 children. If you ain't doing the time as a good father, you're a failure to me. Got you. Understood that. Here's the thing. If the wife/mother is fine with it, you don't hear nothing about it. The men that's out there traveling and doing what they got, and they got women. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't spend time with his sons, but nobody's going to trip because Maria Shriver was fine with it because she took care of the family. There's a lot of families out there where the woman in the traditional roles is doing what they need to do, and dad is working. He's going to tap in with us when we can, and they are totally okay with it. But you'll never be able to call them a deadbeat because they women don't call them a deadbeat. If the woman is good with it and the family is good, see, so many times we say, look, if it works for your family, I'm fine with it. But suddenly we got all these opinions on people where the people in the family that's actually in the shit ain't tripping.
Well,
so how can we trip on Nick if none of his women is tripping? No different than how can we trip on a billionaire who ain't never really around his family, but his wife ain't tripping?
We should.
That billionaires are smart because
that's our problem. We should.
But
I don't know all these stories like what you just heard, Chan. I'm just hearing about this shit. If I know about it, I'm gonna speak on it. Yeah, that motherfucker. You ain't shit, motherfucker. You ain't shit.
But you got men that's gonna
say about them ain't gonna curve how I feel about them. Like, and the thing is, the proof is in the pudding. How many of these kids who don't get to see their fathers are growing up to be royal fuck ups right now? One of Arnold Schwarzenegger kids is a royal. They was just laughing at that nigga kid a couple years back because he was the fat one that wasn't around Arnold Schwarzenegger, but then the one that was always with Arnold Schwarzenegger is in the gym and all that shit. Then he got the illegitimate kid that he don't see that's fucking up. Like, we see the results. 50 Cent's son been going at him for.
So you're gonna pick twigs out of the grass?
No, what I'm saying is we know we all know the data on this. It's not picking twigs. We know what the data is for an absentee father, for a man that's not there. We know the data.
Yeah, but we can't sit here. We can't sit here and say just because the man who biologically birthed these kids, we can't say just because he's not there that. Hold on, we can't just say just because he's not there that they don't have a father figure in their life. So if I am rich, hold on real quick. If I'm rich and Shannon is my brother, and I say, hey, look, bro, you ain't got to work another day in your life. I'm better. I got. This whole year, I got projects day after day. I'm gonna let you hold about 2-3 million. I need you to take care. Listen, for the next 2 years, I'm gonna need you to take these kids to basketball camp with your sons and pair them up. You know what I'm saying? And come get them. And I'll come get them every now and then. I believe
that happens for rich people.
I believe that is what's happening, and that information is not being disclosed to us because it's none of our fucking business. Yeah, and the thing about it is, you got to understand, man, the way these women operate, these women are letting us know that they're willing to be down with us. If we can make ourselves powerful, if we can get to our point where we have power, we can associate that with a strength and a long bloodline. But we don't want to do that. We want to funnel all of our wealth through one family, which I think is unfair for a lot of women that's going to die without a man. So I'm on Kenny's side with this. That if you become a multimillionaire, billionaire, you should. Hold on real quick.
Spread your seed thin and then hire other men.
Let me just say this. If you become a multimillionaire, billionaire,
pulling his ass so much he's agreeing with you.
Spread your wealth. You should spread your wealth to your community. I'm telling, like I said before, if I was a billionaire, I would marry as many sisters as I can and make and create a dynasty. And I think the opposite is justified too. And I kind of understand why a lot of these women, they work on themselves and they have children with NBA players and they bring in the royalties. Instead of having children with a regular dude, these women are willing to have children. Multiple women are willing to have children with this one guy who has millions of dollars. They're letting us know that, hey, look, if you can become powerful where you can take care of kids, all of us will be a wife or a concubine or whatever, or a vessel, so you'll run your bloodline through. They're telling us that.
Darwin, the main thing you said was, well, the main thing I got from it was you said I would marry as many women as possible, right? So if you saying that, I would assume that they would probably be living with you, or would you have wives that live in multiple places?
Yeah, I would either one, whatever is suitable for them to be able to raise my kids. Maximum comfort. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't gotta be necessarily be a wife. If they're willing to have my children, so I can expand my bloodline, then thank you, appreciate it.
Complicated.
So you willing to be a goddamn Pookie too? You ain't shit, Darwin.
I don't think you can associate a billionaire. I don't think you can associate a billionaire who has means to be able to take care of his children on a level that nobody in the world can to a Pookie.
This is so.
Yeah, no. You're just a rich Pookie, Darwin. That's all you are. You're a rich goddamn Pookie.
If this is the case, then why do we talk so much shit about Future and Sierra?
Okay, watch this. If I was Nick Cannon and I was on this panel, I would say to you two, I have my baby mothers under control. But if I'm supposed to give up my lifestyle and how I make my bread to appease you, the ideology of two men and their feelings. As for
what the fuck you want to do?
Me, do it for your goddamn son or your daughter. That's what you do it for.
What are you doing it for me for? I shouldn't. It shouldn't take me.
No. I posed the question facetiously. If I was Nick Cannon, I'm saying, so you guys don't see my lifestyle is right. All my baby mothers are under my covering, and they run by my program. That means I have control. None of my kids want for nothing. But under you two guys' ideologies and feelings, I'm supposed to give up my lifestyle to fit how you see a proper man.
Who said
so financially, they may not want nothing, but emotionally, they probably need you, and you're not available.
So what would y'all rather have? Generational wealth, or have a father spend time with you?
Why can't
and
I
live
have
paycheck to paycheck the rest of your life?
Why can't I just have two children?
Because at 11, 12 years old, you're going to want to hang out with your friends. You ain't going to want to hang out with your father no more. When you start becoming a teenager, you're going to say, fuck, Dad, just leave me alone. I want to go skateboard with the dudes. Bring your ass home when the lights come off.
Bruiser, let him,
at some point, these kids
that's
ain't going to
want to tell you, Bruiser. Go.
That's not mutually exclusive. Like, I can have generational wealth and have kids in my house, and they grow.
Them T-liners, them babyless clippers. We talked about them clippers already, bro.
Why do I have to spread? Why do I have to spread my seed across the nation to do that?
You saw where you
why
saw where you was about to
6, 7, 8 different women pregnant to do that.
Sweeney,
hold on.
This is why. This is why. So you can have a whole state named after your last name, a whole country or island ran by your family.
Come on,
ain't that a bitch? Hey, let me tell you what you better do. You better tell your wife to get her ass ready, because I'm dropping a seed in there every 9 months. Soon as you pop one out, I'm popping one in your ass.
Oh, what did he say?
That's mad aggressive.
What did he say?
I was doing that, but goddamn, these kids start peeing on me and shit. I had to stop.
Put your ass down, didn't you, Marcus? Like, come on, man. What do we? Come on, man.
I think we all looking at it from the lenses of
a person,
the average black man coming out of the hood, and we like, okay, these kids need a father.
No, we're looking at it from a kid needs a father perspective. We ain't looking at it from an average man perspective.
You're not looking at
dads there,
Sweeney.
That goes without
Bruiser
saying.
Just made a point. You're not on my level, so you don't think, and that's not to be disrespectful.
Level to understand that a kid
there's levels to this thing.
No, it's not. I don't need you. I don't need to know what it's like to be a billionaire to know that a kid needs his father.
Well, I
think a father being there is always better than the one on FaceTime. I don't care how we try to slice this up.
You're a 9-to-5er. This goes back to what Shannon talked about, the cash flow quadrant. You're on this side. You're on the left side.
Okay. Okay.
Your money doesn't make money while you sleep. You don't know how to go out there and get it like they
do. Apparently Nick Cannon don't either, because his ass is always outside.
No, that's his purpose, though. And the one thing about a man, you ain't supposed to let nothing get in money in way of your purpose, bro.
A lot of motherfuckers going broke when they stop working, and they millionaires.
What are you talking about? What? Say that again.
He picking twigs out of the grass again. He picking twigs out of the grass.
Wait, Bruiser, let him say that. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I said a lot of motherfuckers are going broke when they stop working, and they were millionaires.
Where are
Shit.
you getting that stat?
Nick Cannon almost suffered when he talked about them small hats. He had a bend the knee and beg to him.
Okay,
before
Hank,
the
I'm gonna
call.
save you from yourself. He never had to work again after he talked about the
He
Jews.
may not have. But them 11 kids, they still want to eat.
Shit.
Okay,
So
Shannon.
why did he go back? Why did he bend the
Shannon,
knee?
I'm gonna go to you. After
Yeah, why did he bend the
the
knee?
issues with the Jews, he did not
Hey,
have to
Kenny,
work.
careful with that, because you get the yellow tag, man.
Okay,
You got to
wait,
be careful about
with
groups.
with our other brothers, the Orthodox, the Hasids. So after he did that, and he had to go sit down with Ario and all those people, he never had to work again. He's getting royalties, is he not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Big royalties.
No.
and he got his radio spot. So he's he got his radio show back. They snatched his radio show. They kicked him. Wildin' Out was taken off out of MTV2, and they sat his butt down. And then he had to bring old boy on his show, have the conversation. He had to go to sensitivity training,
Defamation League.
and
Yeah.
then they gave him the radio show back. He kept the masters and the rights to Wildin' Out. That's when he took it on tour, and they start cutting him a check to just chill and be cool.
So he wasn't
But
losing
the check
nothing.
part, a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people don't know about that. Nick is good in that regard. All because, but some people in the industry is like, yeah, but you bended the knee and you kissed the ring. Nick is like, I don't give a fuck. We all doing that anyway. So it just depends on what angle you coming from and shit.
Well, my ultimate point was that he still had to work. He still had to get up and even when they took Wildin' All off the air, what did he do? Which dope ass show? Because I seen him in Vegas.
No, Sweeney,
Hold
he
on,
does not
bro.
have to work.
Let me finish my point. Dope ass show, might have asked because we saw him in Vegas, but he had to get his ass up and go on a Wildin' Out to keep making that money. He still has to work. Even when Wildin' Out was taken off the air, he was still doing he went over there to start hosting on this show. Then he he had to do his own podcast, and he was still working. A lot of people, my whole point was a lot of people go broke, even millionaires, when they stop working.
Stop using a lot.
Sweeney, I disagree. I don't agree with Nick Cannon's point. However, Nick Cannon, he didn't have to work. Some people just do what they do because they love it. If I won that $1 billion lottery today, I would continue to do what I do. Not because I need money and I'm afraid to go broke, because I know how to invest. I don't save, right? But I would still do it because I love what I'm doing. I love to contribute to the planet by doing what it is that I do. And I think that Nick Cannon is just one of them guys. It's not about the wealth for him per se, because he wouldn't give out those type of contracts to his homeboys if he was greedy or worried about money. He takes care of a lot of people.
I have to work again.
The mistake
What's
word
that?
that you're using is
Nothing.
had.
I have to work again.
Nothing. There's no money that would make me stop.
No. I mean, not you personally, but like in general, how much money would a person need to never or have to make to never have to work again?
Wait, you can't.
Oh,
You can't just say that like that.
Hey, I'm asking Trev, bro. Chill out.
5 million.
5 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying for me or just a person in general? It depends on your lifestyle, because in general, a person, it depends on how they were living. If you were an NBA guy, you still have to travel private. You still got to do different things. There's certain things that you just don't want to be. You don't want to shop the same places. A regular ass person.
Conversation moving. So just for the sake of argument, just for the conversation, in America, anywhere, 5 million. Okay, now what, Sweeney?
All right. So how many people do we know made 5 million over their lifetime and they're broke?
I know. Well, who you asking? I know a lot of
Quite a bit.
Just publicly.
Quite a bit.
5 million.
MC Hammer, fuck, a lot of people, man.
We seen a lot of millionaires go broke, especially ball players, right? When I said a lot, I didn't say all of them or even most of them. I just said there's a lot of people. 1,000 could be a lot.
Why would you use the most minuscule? How many ball players have it?
How many millionaires exist?
How many millionaires in basketball?
A lot.
How many people play in the league, Shannon?
200.
What are you talking about?
Okay,
200 total.
So
203, again, I think.
So again, we've seen millionaires who made over $5 million, who technically would never have to work again, go broke.
They blew it though. They didn't just go broke. They made bad decisions with it. The money.
Yeah, but that's still his point though. They went broke. However, they went broke. They went broke.
Yeah, but you don't have to be in a league. You don't have to be in a league.
You think
make $5 million
broke after making $5 million?
You can be on it. Listen, if you live to be, let's say you live to be 70 years old. Let's say you retirement. You make $60,000 a year. That's enough for anybody to live on. For the 60,000 times 70, it gives you 4,200,000.
Okay.
That Shannon's right. You only need about 5 million. If you work into retirement and you able to make $35 an hour and you able to maintain that as a retirement, making $60,000 a year, that's good. You ain't never got to work a day in your life, and you ain't got to make the million. You can just work to a point where you can retire at that rate.
5 million give you more than
granted that. You live at 70 years old.
I think that's a fair statement to make. Is that yes? If you're looking at a lot of people, 5 million can get them from one end of life to the other, right?
And maybe not even that much. But here's the thing that you're missing, Sweeney. Imagine. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what's so selfish about your point of view, and actually you shoot yourself in the foot.
Go ahead.
If let's just say imagine yourself being a billionaire,
right?
You marry one woman, and you have a couple of kids, and you kill over. And your mind is to, I don't know where your mind is at with that, but let's say she remarried. Guess who's getting your generational wealth? Another man's seed. When you could, I personally think it's selfish for a billionaire to only funnel all of that royalty, all of that wealth through one woman. When we have all these women in the world that's gonna go through life and not have a chance at having a life with a man or even having kids. Because we live in a lot of these countries, we live in a capitalistic society. I think if you able to make up 90% or 80% of the wealth in a particular country, and you funnel that through one woman, that's one of the most selfish things you could ever do.
So
I'm in amazement.
You said that they should redistribute
wealth.
wealth.
It took a whole week for Bruiser to sleep on what I said. Now he's a polygamist.
But I think it's a level 2 becoming a polygamist. I don't think you can do that at $40,000. 42. What is that minimum? 42.5. I don't think you can do that at
the man that makes $40,000 a year as a polygamist person. I think he was referencing the exact person you're talking about.
And then we factor in multiple baby mothers and multiple women and all these kids. I don't think you can do that I think polygamy. I mean, I think you can do it, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it with, in that situation. I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's for